All right, ready to roll?
Yep.
Let's go! Pump myself up today. It's been a long Friday already. It is August the 31st, 2018, and we are here for show number 79. Nadal and Khachanov are playing now. Just a quick shout out to I'm trying to say this humbly, but I told you that Khachanov would win the first set. I did say 6-4. He won the first set 7-5. Nadal won the second 7-5.
And it's 1-0 on serve.
I think Nadal should go ahead and probably maybe a 6-4 here, and then maybe a 6-4 or 6-3 in the fourth. But let's see what happens.
I don't know. He's playing Thor. That guy looks like Thor / Stefan.
Yes.
Thor Stefan.
Khachanov is Thor.
Great combination.
So we're coming home and she's watching Khachanov like on her phone, and she's like, "Ooh, that's Thor."
Wow.
I'm like, huh? Good player though. I like Khachanov a lot.
I hate his forehand.
I'm not a big fan of his forehand either.
Too much. But he's powerful.
Powerful dude though. Powerful dude. I think Nadal wins this match. Again, we're going to get to results at the very end of probably part 2. But I think Nadal wins this.
That rain helped.
Is Nadal vulnerable?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well,
I don't think so.
That rain helped.
He's a slow starter. I'm a slow starter.
Yeah.
You know this.
Yes,
some
true.
people
He is a slow starter.
some people start steamrolling, and some people take a little while to get the gear changing.
I'm a steamroller.
I'm a gear changer.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on. Today has, by the way, been an amazing day for viewer comments. Am I right?
Yes.
Today is the absolute apex of viewer comments. A lot of times, and please forgive me for this, I don't get the opportunity to see a lot of the viewer comments. You can ask her. A lot of times I actually study just off-the-wall subjects, geology, space, astronomy, the universe, a lot of the stuff that Robert Starr has talked about. I find myself in kind of different avenues in terms of what my focal points are, but I always I bleed tennis. It's in my genes. It's in my blood. For hers, her father, my father, my grandfather even. I don't think her grandfather went there, but my father's father back in the late 1800s played, hence why my father played, born in 38. So it's something that I do, but a lot of times I like to kind of venture down different paths of the unknown, physics and stuff that most people would think are boring, but I think it all ties in to court conduct and being a good tennis player, believe it or not. I can read about the universe and I somehow correlate it with tennis.
Yeah.
Let's go. I mean that. But the comments in the past 24 hours to me have been so deep within themselves, especially towards the end of this season. This season, if you stop and think about it, this season has been a game changer, not just for the fans, but for the players and the whole history of the sport. We have Davis Cup with an inherent huge shift from traveling to a tournament format. That's big time stuff, believe it or not. I'm a Davis. My last name's Davis. Has no relation, but because of that, ever since I was a boy, I was like Davis Cup. So I don't follow it a lot, but it's been a kind of a part of dinner table discussions off and on. Not every day like all the other tournaments for myself and herself and our families, but Davis Cup has been some topic, you know. Not big following. We've been to some Davis Cup events, and they're
well,
fun.
you have. I haven't been.
Yeah, a couple of them, but nonetheless, good tennis, and it's changed. It changed the history books. We have coaching on the sidelines now that's applicable to the women. We have the whole grunting thing that is going on, and do we say that it's a foul or not? And part of the noise behind me, there's never a day in which we don't get some type of noise. So this noise today is the random lawnmower that is going by on a sandy driveway. So we don't have much grass, but somehow there's a lot of lawnmowers here. Let's go! Let's go! Okay. We have the shot clock that was incorporated this year. We have umpires giving pep talks, like we have umpires getting off their chairs during majors and giving pep talks to players. What? I don't really get that. I get the human being side behind that, but the whole aspect of that being done, quite interesting to me, and we're going to get into that. But the comments, again, in the past 24 hours have been so important to me. I think that they outweigh the current matches being played right now, and I think that they outweigh some of the upcoming matches, because the comments to me could go down in history of some great tennis history, and I mean that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do a quick rundown of those that I know in this group, at least on a personal perspective, and not just necessarily a computerized version, but people that we know and can tell by things that they say that they are definitely really deep into the game. So we have Stefan and Kane. Stefan and Kane both speak like coaches. Not that that's any better or worse than anything else, but sometimes when people make certain comments, you kind of think that maybe they think in tennis like potentially they are a coach, and not necessarily a player, or players but heavily minded as coaches. And I know that sounds kind of segregational, and I don't mean it to be that way. But a lot of players don't care anything about coaching. They go out and play, and they want to be coached, and when they're done playing, they care less about coaching. But some people emanate a vibe of being kind of deep into the coaching side of it, and I think that's a beautiful thing. So we get that from Kane and Stefan. We know Dave Raines, who comments, we know he's a solid player, a real strong player, a wonderful human being with all the best of ideals of a human being, great court conduct, heck of a player, great family, just the epitome of a good player. We know Arul Fallen is a high-level college coach, and I won't mention his name or the team that he coaches for, or he has coached many teams in the United States, but he is a high-level college coach and a head coach. Not an assistant, but he actually is the head coach of a major college, currently major university here in the United States. So we know Arul Fallen brings a lot of insight in a very respectable way. We know that Greg Moya, who's another friend of mine, was an ATP player. We know Carla has been a challenger player in of herself. Both my father, her father, Savvy coaches, they're heavily involved. A lot of the high school students that we coach that have gotten into the game are involved. Myself, born into it, played for 38 years and counting. I'm 40, but I was introduced to it when I was 2. It's been very good to me. We have Stimpy Boy, AJ Malfoy, Kia Sama, B-Dog02, Furzy 09, the one that loves to catch Carla, and ridiculous Sanchez Vicario statistics. We're going to talk about this later.
What was I thinking?
I don't know, but I still got a lawnmower behind me because there's no grass. But
because the grass is super high.
Let's go! We have The Look, who brings big names. We have Hisham. We have Wayne Chia. We have Dark Knight. We have Robert Starr, who kind of is like my light equilibrium that keeps me going in one cool, calm, wave riding kind of vibe. Let's go! I like that Robert Starr stuff. Come on! Dark Knight, I think, did I mention Dark Knight there?
Oh, my son wants to know, did you name yourself Dark Knight after a game?
Yeah,
I won't name the game.
Our 14-year-old's big into the superhero stuff. I try to pull him away from it and hand him a tennis racket to do shadow tennis in the living room. But somehow I lose.
He doesn't play. It's very rare that we let him play. It's on weekends.
I think he should never have a video game controller ever in his hand, and I think he should have at least a tennis racket in his hand to shadow tennis in the mirror, so he can practice his point of impact, so he can practice his one-handed backhand, which he hits, so he can practice his volleys, meeting it out front, so he can practice his service motion. And then if he doesn't want to do that anymore, I feel like he can go sit at this table and write me a couple paragraphs on describing what he just did. Let's go! You only live once. If I
So when you were a kid, you didn't do anything?
If I could go back,
you didn't do anything when you were a kid.
Well, I complained about all the tennis I was made to play, but at the same point in time, if now that I'm 40 and I could go back in time,
sure,
right, and I could go back in time right now, if I could go back in time, I would say, Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for whining. I'm so sorry for complaining. My coaches, I'm sorry for not giving you 100% because, oh my goodness, if I could go back in time, I would work way harder. Way harder.
We all say that.
Let's go.
That's part of life.
And I know this, so I'm going to make sure that I don't pass a video game controller to my kid all the time. Sometimes I get, oh, you're such a butthole, you're such a butthole, blah, blah, blah. Do I not? But at the end of the day, I mean well. Let's go. I'm sure Kane, Dave, I'm sure Stefan.
Yeah, I mean, they don't.
I'm sure they would agree with me at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you too. It's not like they play. That's one thing when there's school, there's none of that.
Look, the reason why we struggle now, in my opinion, is my fault, because I should have trained harder then. So, you know what? That's a fact. That's a fact. The only problem is then I might not have met her. Because,
no, you definitely would have met me.
So I have
Same with me. If I would have continued like my dad said, he wouldn't have met me.
Yeah, so I guess I have to count my blessings. We struggle now, but I have her. At the same time, if I could go back in time and work harder, then I might not have her and 5 beautiful kids. What would I choose? I think I would be rather broke under a bridge than lose them, but nonetheless, if I worked harder, I feel like that I could play with the best of them.
Well, it's a good lesson, right? That's why I think the Europeans are more successful. They work hard. They're hungrier.
Let's go. They hit against the wall and bombed out swimming pools.
They're hungrier.
Let's go.
Yes.
What I'm talking about. Sometimes I would rather send my kid to where Djokovic and who are some of the other players that actually had to practice.
Anywhere else, in any European country.
So there's some players that have literally had to practice against walls and bombed out swimming pools, and they bring it.
Yeah.
And you know what? If somehow there could be some type of something for my own kids to go to where they could experience the real tough aspects of life. We're complaining about neighbors. I mean, we're talking about people that practice in bombed out swimming pools. Gets me fired up thinking about it. Let's go. Come on. I'm serious. I'd rather have my kids training there with a little bit of life and humility than send them to Florida and practice in a swimming pool.
Let me tell you the problem here in the United States.
Serious.
You discipline your kids on the tennis court and you're yelling at them. Like,
oh, you go to jail.
You go to jail. But you do. I mean, my father, when he trained me, he would yell, he would scream, he would throw rackets. I mean, he'd chase us.
Oh, yeah. That was.
But you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Now you have to say, it's okay if you missed the ball. Whereas over there, on the other side of the world, they can do that. And that's where their kids come out stronger, more disciplined, more aggressive. They want to fight.
This is where I actually have to think about who sees what and what not. When we go to the tennis courts, there's times where I want to scream like my father used to do, which I appreciate, and I know her father's done the same. And look, let's be real. We went to a doubles match that she played when you were like 20. How old were you then? The Turkey Day tournament?
Oh, this was before I had Gabriela, so I was like 32?
She was in her 30s, and she was playing a mixed doubles match with her brother, and she was playing bad. They still won the match, and he was all mad, like, what are you doing? And she was in her 30s with 3 kids at that point. Let's go! Let's go, Nathan. Let's go, Nathan Moore Ramirez. Let's go!
As a matter of fact, I'm one of the few people that can play doubles with him, because everyone's too scared.
He likes to break rackets.
They're too scared to play with him.
Yeah, we were at a tournament, and I let him borrow one of my rackets, and in the middle of the match, he smashed it. Broke it. I'm like, man, I was just letting you borrow my racket, this is what I get. He replaced the racket,
No,
obviously.
you gave it to him.
Well, okay, he replaced it either way. He still got me a new racket. He did a wonderful gentleman thing. I mean, I forget if I gave it to him or not. But
you gave it to him.
He still gave me another racket, which was beautiful.
Actually, he met my father, and he gave him a racket. You know, to try to...
score
points.
Yeah, I want to be with your daughter, so here's a new racket for you. Got smashed. Wow.
The first day you met him. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so look.
That didn't scare you?
We can venture off in this for about 2 minutes. So I meet them at a pizza place, and she's about to play a tournament, and we're driving.
No, this is after.
Oh yeah, well they played first. You were playing doubles first, so we ate afterwards. We were with her brother, a guy named Kenny, and her father, Nathan. What's up, Nathan? So we're sitting at the table, we order pizza. He's like, hey boy.
Actually, he took you outside.
Come here, we're going to need to go outside. He takes me outside in the parking lot. He's like, what do you want with my daughter? What do you want with her? What do you want with my daughter? Are you serious? Are you crazy? You going to be able to handle her? I was like, man, I think so. Anyway, fast forward, so we have to get back to tennis. Everything's good now. Again, thank you much for these comments. They come from a real long list of heavy-hitting tennis minds, and I really think it's awesome that we're a part of you guys, so thank you all very much, because this is your show, and I'm just proud to be doing this. Just proud to be doing it. Let's go.
By the way, Nadal and Khachanov are still on serve on the third set, and Anderson is up 5-3 in the third set to go up 2-1 on Shapovolov.
Let's go. By the way, shouldn't people like all these that we've been talking about represent the game of tennis instead of the biggest marketing powers? Okay. Let me repeat that. Shouldn't people like these, all the people, the viewers that just respectively went down the list, shouldn't these be the people that represent tennis instead of the current conglomeration of draws makers and bankers and marketing powers.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna read these comments, and I really interpret a lot of real deep-hearted care. And unfortunately, at the highest level of the current, I don't really see that. Maybe I'm wrong for that, but I don't think the owner of Nike really potentially cares too much about anything except where that logo is in terms of the finals. And I think Stiffy Boy brought this out from the get-go. I never bought into it, but the more that I watched, the more I said, well, I'm not going to believe in the conspiracy theory yet, but after having really kind of researched this to the best of my ability, it seems like everything does point really in that direction. And if you haven't been following the show, then we've been talking about certain athletes sponsored by the biggest of the biggest money holders. Do they get, sometimes more paddings on the rear end than others? And I would begin to believe that I'm starting to maybe believe it. All right. Anyway, so my only two statements of today, that was my only topic of the day, by the way, was shouldn't people like these be the people that represent tennis? That's my only one topic. Again, the weed eater over here, I'm not sure about that. There's no weeds, but we get it. Let's go! Anyway, so my only two statements of the day, and then we're going to turn it all over to Carla, is Karen Khachanov is a man, right? He's a man.
I'm sorry.
He's a man.
Man, Poitras is a big guy, right? Yeah. Monfils is a big guy. Isner's a big guy. Anderson's another big guy. But this guy, he's got like the whole package from top to bottom. He looks like Thor. The other guys are big, but they got like little legs. Just saying.
Let's go, Khachanov. Look, if I didn't have Nadal on my fantasy team, I would be rooting for him because I'm not the biggest Nadal fan. I like him, believe me. I like Federer, I like Djokovic. I'm not going to jump on any one bandwagon in particular. We've talked about this. I'd love to see a young man come in and do the unthinkable.
Yeah, he's got a future.
I called yesterday that Khachanov more than likely will get a first set. I don't know what the score is now. I don't have to look at it yet. You can wait.
I'm looking as we're talking. It's still on serve.
So I think Nadal will win this. I think Khachanov has a lot to prove. But if Nadal were to lose this match, can anyone disagree with me? And this is my topic. If Nadal were to lose this match, wouldn't that make the potential matchup between Djokovic and Federer the final that we actually have to watch in the fourth round? And then after that quarterfinal/final, really, we're going to watch what, Djokovic or Federer play Cilic?
Well, Cilic's a great player. You can't take that away from Cilic.
You can't take it away from Cilic.
No,
but
Cilic could be a final as well.
So you don't think it'll end up being as lopsided as the Djokovic-Anderson final at Wimbledon?
I hope not. I don't think so, because I think the U.S. Open surprises you. Cilic is a great player. It would be a great final. Watching Del Potro in a final would be great. Watching Wawrinka in a final would be great. Why not? As long as it's not Anderson.
Well,
again.
I don't have a problem with Anderson. I
don't think he can beat these guys.
I don't either.
He's having trouble with Shapovolov right now.
Yeah, well look. And by the way, that match, I didn't even write that in. Shapovalov and Anderson are playing, and Anderson, I know that sounded kind of messed up, but I would hope that, actually, it doesn't even matter. Shapovalov needs it for his young career.
He's 28 ranked. Anderson is the 5th seed and a veteran.
Anderson could use it, but again, if his serve's not on, then the 7-6, if Anderson serve is clicking, he's going to win most sets, 7-6 or 6-4. However, if it's not clicking and Shapovalov's playing decently, then
it's not clicking because the score is showing that it's not.
Okay. Well, Shapovalov should win like with 6-3 sets, 6-3s and 6-4s. If a big server's not clicking and all he can do is just hope to break, he's not going to have a good result at the end of the match. There's going to be some 3-6 sets. There's going to be some 4-6 sets. If you're a big server and you cannot hold and you can't break routinely, you are in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. Just one last topic, and we're getting into your topic. I just wanted to do a quick review on the umpire getting out of his chair and talking to Nick Kyrgios. Number one, let me just run down some bullet points. Boom, 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 boom. Does it not give something does it not offer this whole thing, Kyrgios, something to fight for? Meaning, since this umpire came down, and number one, I respect the umpire for coming down out of his chair and trying to talk some sense into Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios has some of the most gifted tennis gifts I've ever seen in 40 years of tennis or ever read or studied about. However, his mentality is the worst I've ever seen with an exponent of 3,000. With that said, that makes him a subpar player. I understand why the umpire came down. I think he shot from the hip, though. I don't think he was thinking, and he was just so...
Well, he's a veteran umpire.
A veteran umpire.
Yeah.
No history on his rap sheet. He gets down, and I can sense kind of like a fatherly, because again, I have 5 kids, 3 boys. And when I see my kids breaking down, and I see it, yeah, I raise boys. They're going to break down sometimes. And it's like, I just want to tell them, please, just please, you're better than this. Don't break your racket. Please don't squander these points. You're better than this. We raised you better than this. You're good for this place. They need you. Be a leader. Don't bow down. Don't show defeat. I mean, we've dealt with the same thing with lies from neighbors in the past couple days. Don't bow down. Be positive. Come on. And I think that's a great thing. That's what I try to emulate to all you on this show, even though half of our lives is tumult too. But I still try to get out of, let's go. Come on. You know, just let it get it done. You know, we can worry later. Just let's go for now.
I'm looking at your side of what you're saying. Yeah, you can put yourself on that
side. But I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to the other side. I'm going to the other side too. However, with the beautiful human being side of that I watch, there is another human being involved in this whole thing as well. So you have a kid on the other side, Herbert or whatever, that was steamrolling. And is it possible that what this umpire said completely changed history for one person? Well, that didn't happen to the other guy. So all I'm getting at is you have this one kid that's struggling to make this round. You got Kyrgios that could be the best in the world, but he's so thugged out and disrespectful to everyone and doing really obscene gestures that if my daughters would have saw and I was just even a person in the stands, I probably would have tried to run around the court and tackle him. But there's no trees here, and I got a freaking...
It's a blower.
Oh. Alright, so anyway, what the umpire did was beautiful from a karma, from a good human being standpoint. In other words, in my opinion, I took it as, you know what, this umpire said, I'm tired of seeing this kid fail. Even if I lose my job over it, I'm going to try to help him. And he did that, and it worked. So standing ovation for the help for Kyrgios. This has got to be purposeful. Anyway, so at the end of the day, though, what I'm trying to get at is that if that doesn't happen, would the other kid have won, and therefore that other kid would have faced Federer in the next round? Now we're talking about manipulating millions of dollars and sponsors and prize money and so forth, right? So I think the fact of the matter is that aren't we umpires and moderators supposed to be 100% neutral and unbiased?
Yes, you're supposed to be.
So,
absolutely.
So I think it is a huge problem that this happened because it took the unbiasedness right out of the tennis match. Now, because this is okay, now is there bad line calls? Is there overruling that shouldn't be happening? Did someone forget to turn on the shot clock? Now the whole thing is in question, which compromises the credibility of the umpire. However, I really see the beautiful human being of it, and he will get good karma because of it.
He did, yeah.
But is it fair to the other guy?
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
He did a good thing, yes. You can see the human side of it. But the reality is that you have to be fair with both players. You cannot pick sides. As an umpire, you're there not to pick sides, but to call the shots the way you see it. I mean, if a ball is out, you correct, whatever. You're there to continue the order of tennis. I mean, you're there to put law, not to say, hey, Kyrgios, come on, man, you can do it. That's what a coach is for.
So,
well, he said he doesn't have a coach. Kyrgios said he hasn't had a coach in years.
Yeah, hasn't had a coach, and I don't know whether there's truth behind that.
That's what he said. I haven't had a coach in years, and he wasn't coaching me, he said.
But I think someone mentions this later in a comment. So I'm going to end my comment here at this point. Again, I'm very sorry about the noise. I'm trying to stay relaxed nonetheless. But I'm going to leave it with this quote that I wrote down. If Kyrgios wins over Roger Federer, or if Kyrgios wins the entire tournament, okay, he owes this umpire his potential manlyhood and the rest of his life, okay? The umpire may lose his job, I understand that. But if there is someone that is in desperate need of help in this world, in the game of tennis, and there's people everywhere that need help, believe me, I'm one of them. Admittedly so. But this person had an opportunity to help someone, and I think he did. I think he will lose his job because of it. I'm not saying he should, but that was really risky, and it was out of line with the norms. And it should be reprimanded one way, shape, or form. However, he may have saved a young man's life in terms of his tennis game, and may have given him something to fight for. Namely, I would feel sorry for the USTA or whoever hires these line judges to fire that judge, because if you do fire him, Kyrgios is going to get so mad, so ticked off, you're going to bring the real bad boy out of him, and he's going to destroy everyone and walk through the final. I would not fire the guy because, one, he was trying to save a life, respectively so, and two, you're going to make Kyrgios so mad where he's going to destroy everybody.
I don't think they're going to fire him.
It can't happen. This should be a life-learned lesson for umpires. You can't do it.
They will reprimand him, but they will not fire him. This guy is a veteran. They're allowed to make mistakes. We're humans.
I'm going to leave it at this. From a good karma perspective, he did a beautiful human being thing. From a good karma perspective. If money is your dictator, then he did a bad thing. I think good for karma, but in the future, this shouldn't be allowed to happen, and it should be a golden rule.
What was his name?
Herbert?
Herbert, bad for him because that took him out of his game completely.
Yeah, it was bad for Herbert, so I think maybe Herbert should be compensated for like his second round win money, because he should be compensated just to make it neutral, because Herbert was going to win that match if it wasn't for that pep talk. So, but he wasn't going to win it. He wasn't going to beat Federer. Herbert wasn't going to beat Federer. Let's be real.
It doesn't matter, Justin.
I understand.
So what? If that was your kid, you would be extremely upset at that umpire.
Well, we play junior tournaments, and the refs do that. They hire refs from local tournaments that we play in that they know, and the refs go there, and they look out for their club players, and then their club players are like, oh, this guy's making a bad call. They look at my kids, and they're like, oh, here comes the Mexican kid. And it offends us, but we keep our mouth shut. We go to their clubs and we play tournaments, and if my sons are winning, a lot of times balls that are 6 inches in are 6 inches out. They'll call their refs, and the refs will come out, and when those calls come into question, it is habitual. I didn't quite see that one. It's your job to call that one. I can just correct it if I see it. We've heard it for years. I'm not going to get into all that. However, I appreciate what the umpire was doing. He was trying to help and not stay biased to his club that he or she represents, because we have lived it. I appreciate what the umpire did, but it cannot be allowed to happen, and Herbert should be compensated for that match winnings. Leave it alone, no suits or nothing. Let the coach keep his job, but in the future it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
Well, I think Federer was highly upset, and he said that will never happen again. Whereas Djokovic said he didn't see it as wrong.
Yeah, and we don't even care for the girls' coach line.
That's stupid.
We are complete opponents of the girls being coached on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I don't want to see it on
well,
the men's
Federer
side.
said it changed the dynamics of the match, and I think it did. It changed the mentality. It changed everything.
Yeah, it changed the dynamics of the entire match.
Where I don't know where Djokovic is thinking, because if this would have been done to him, he would have been highly upset.
Unacceptable to do it. Let's move forward. Great human being moment. I hope he gets good karma, and oh my gosh, this blower. All right, let's go. Stay positive. Let's go. Real quick shout out to Furzy09. Furzy09 dealt out Carla's epic meltdown fail of a stat.
I saw his message at 3-something in the morning. That's my usual time to wake up, 3-something in the morning. And I said, oh my God, I said, what was I thinking to say that Arantxa won 2 U.S. Opens and 2 Wimbledons? What was I thinking? When she's Spaniard and plays on clay.
So yeah, I was writing this show out yesterday, just as, my notes outline per se. And she's like, telling me Arantxa so-and-so's Vicario, and I kind of just didn't even go there. I just didn't even write it, and she brought it back up. And she said that, and I kind of went along with it because she told me that she had checked that. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to talk and not lose focus of talking to you guys, and she says Arantxa Sanchez Vicario and somehow doesn't mention the French Open, and I just go along with it. I woke up this morning before I even read any of the comments, and I usually don't read much because it generally in the mornings with this wound thing on my leg, I'm dealing with that. I kind of get up and I'm focused on that. So a lot of times I don't read the messages. CJ stays on top of them all.
Well, you used to, but I do now.
But when I saw that, I'm like, man, I know Furzy09's right. Because I used to remember when I was probably, I don't know, early 90s, if I remember correctly. My year may be off there. But I would keep up with Sanchez Vicario. And I would always see her holding trophies with her bandana, like this, I think she had almost like a Matt Sweeland or a Pat Cash bandana, She had like the
Nadal style. She was a cute little thing.
I don't know about super cute.
I mean, you know, you just wanted to go, you know.
Sanchez Vicario, you wanted to go what?
She's like a cute little player, strong, like a little pit bull. That's what she reminds me of, a little pit bull.
She's a good player. I don't know how hot she was.
I was
though.
not talking about, geez, you're looking at her a different way. I'm talking about she's like a little pit bull, always fighting.
Yeah, she's a fighter. I just don't think she was hot.
I'm not saying she was hot.
I like her, though. But nonetheless, I used to always remember her in my mind when she was telling me this, of Vicario on red clay. And I'm thinking, I thought that's all she won was French. In my head, but I just went along with it. So Furzy 09 roasted.
Yeah, she won 3 French Opens and 1 US
Let's go,
Open.
Furzy 09. Let's go. All right, so we are approaching the end of part 1. We have an entire slew of viewer comments, and then we have today's matches with Nadal Khachanov still ongoing.
Still on serve, 5-4.
So we've got a long match here. We might go 5 here. I think Nadal might pull it out in 4, but Khachanov's a big server, big boy, so we might end it in 4.
You might as well call him Thor.
Thor.
Thor. The Thor
All
of tennis.
I'm going to stop part 1 here, and then we are going to immediately go to part 2, and this is part 2 is going to be all viewer comments, some quick discussions about each. Remember, these comments that we're about to do are from the previous day's shows, 2 of them yesterday, and these comments here are worth a show in entirety because they're really good. They're really good. They put me in this positive mindset, and I'm bringing right now. Let's go!
What's all the other tools around us?
Oh yeah, now I got a bush hog. I got a saw, blower, lawnmower, and we don't even have any grass. Let's go! Go! All right, part 2 is coming up. Hang tight. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Click like, subscribe, share the videos, and much love to all of you, because without you, there is no us. Let's go.
See you in a bit.
Part 2 coming up.